I could actually answer that. It's an interesting story. My grandfather was an officer in the Russian army, in the Tsar's army. This is not out of the blue. This is related to what we're talking about. And he didn't speak English, but by the time I knew him, he came to America. And my father said he fought in the Russo-Japanese War. He was an officer. Russia and Japan had a war in 1905 in which the Japanese kicked the butts of the Russians. And I was astounded to hear this. My grandfather was a big, tough guy. I said, how did they lose to Japan? Japan's a small country, all these little islands. And that day, when it's the 1950s, Russia was an enormous country. I said, you mean that huge country Russia lost to the small country Japan? Not only that, but all the Russians I knew in New York City were big people. They tend to be large people. The Japanese, I don't mean to be at all offensive, but were not known as giants, especially in 1905. I couldn't understand this. And my father, he couldn't explain it. Later on, I took a class in Asian history in college, and I learned that the Japanese had used knowledge to beat the Russians. They went all around the world finding munitions, understanding how the West made war, understanding the technology of war. So by the time they came to a war with Russia, Russia still had cavalry, with horses. The Japanese had Gatling guns, and they mowed them down. And I came to realize, a small person could beat a big person if they have knowledge.